Well, today we're here with Kevin Nolan from Vision Technologies and Reed Carroll. I'm Gayla Arrindell with Corning Optical Communications in the market development function. And we're going to sit here and have a little conversation today about the business as it relates to what we call the core LAN business, the core structured cabling side of the business. So COVID has obviously impacted this enterprise business, with the offices not coming back to full capacity, etc. So how has Vision sort of coped with this, pivoted maybe, and where are you seeing the opportunities now as it relates to the core LAN?
Well, as you can imagine, that's a huge topic, right? Because that is, ever since when COVID hit, that was the top as far as business, especially. It's like what is going to be the new norm? When is going to be the new norm? And then how do we prepare for that? So that's kind of been a constant influx of what that answer is and how to prepare for that. But one of the things the biggest trends we've seen coming out of that is flexibility, because the new normal will be a different normal. So it will be something different, but the more and more you talk to, Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies, large companies with a lot of employees out there, they do talk about we need our people back in the office, but they want flexibility. So I think when we're talking to companies and we're talking about helping them, being partners with them of future-proofing for them, it's giving them that. And from an infrastructure standpoint, how can we do that? What can give you the most bandwidth? What can give you the most flexibility? And Corning's been a great partner with us, being able to have those conversations with our customers and our partners.
Oh, great. So are you seeing any, how do you see the smart building space? Can you elaborate a little bit more on how you see that trend?
Well, it's definitely been a trend. So smart buildings or intelligent buildings has been around for 30 years, but it seems like for 25 years that was vaporware. But the last handful of years, it's definitely here and grown massively. So what we see is a big trend in mixed-use spaces, in mixed-use planned campuses, and what that means to us from a technology perspective, you're doing a lot of converged technologies, a lot of energy efficiency, a lot of hoteling, you got a lot of sensors, physical security, and we definitely find ourselves getting into the OT space too. So we're in the IT space with security and AV and infrastructure and wireless and sensors, and in the OT space with HVAC control, energy control, lighting control. And then one of the cool things that we do as an integrator that a lot of our competitors don't do is we take that IT and OT technologies and we converge them onto one platform, and we allow a customer the ability to manage all those energy sources, all those systems from one pane of glass and do it locally or remotely. And so, it's been a big boom for us in terms of our technology and our growth.
Cool. So you just mentioned a lot about the government or the federal space. Obviously, we've seen a lot of investment from the, especially here in the U.S. on the Fed and government space. How has Vision sort of approached that market, and what kind of success have you seen?
I'll let you speak more.
Okay, so we play in a little bit in the DoD space, a lot in civilian agency space. And what we see in the government right now is a lot of it mirrors the commercial markets in terms of the advances in technology. So they're definitely, first of all, they're definitely focused on security, securing the network, securing data. But beyond that, a big use of infrastructure, of bandwidth, of wireless. It's got to be secured wireless, and a lot of video teleconferencing and AV and physical security. So you think about the infrastructure behind that, a lot of wired infrastructure, a lot of wireless infrastructure, and also a lot of DAS or cellular reinforcement in those organizations, because the use of tablets or smartphones is ubiquitous. So I think it's Corning and Vision have seen a lot of growth in the civilian agency space.
Right. And fiber obviously plays a very important role in keeping your network secure, right? Both from a physical
and we still see a lot of the traditional where we saw a lot of fiber on government agencies, of SCIFs. And you mentioned secure, right? And it's interesting what Kevin said as far as the federal mimicking what the enterprise has done. We see a lot of that from the enterprise kind of mimicking on the SCIFs. Mm-hmm. So now SCIF can be a generic word, secured, compartmentalized. But a lot of enterprise facilities are doing SCIFs as well. And so the fiber is a natural play for that, every time.
Right, and of course, Corning has the full secure solutions portfolio
Exactly.
that is very much for that SCIF application. So great. So kind of talking about smart buildings again and technology, obviously we've seen fiber, getting to the building. I think most of the carriers have switched their networks over to fiber. And the fiber has definitely, gone into the vertical of the building. But we still see the horizontal of the building being predominantly, a LAN copper structured cabling solution. But more and more, we see the movement towards fiber getting closer to the edge. So how do you see that trend, and are you seeing a pickup in that area?
I think we definitely see it. I mean, give copper manufacturers credit for the technology advances and the encoding scheme advances. Copper has had a long life. But fiber has become more and more prevalent all the way to the edge or all the way to the device. I think part of that is the chipsets on the fiber components. I think it is the bandwidth needs, especially when you see the prevalence of wireless and 5G and secure networks. Fiber is becoming more and more the preferred critical infrastructure. And I think the price point is working for when you look at customers and they want that bandwidth and that future proofing and that density, and the price point is really crossing where copper has had a strength historically. But we see more and more fiber all the time.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree on that. I mean, especially with the price point. I mean, it's definitely. And then I think a preconceived notion of, and unfortunately, I have been in the industry for a little while.
Yes, we all have.
Not to give my age away, but I've been around. And so there was that, of durability, of glass breaking, if you will. And that, so you're a little more cautious of running to the desktop. Which is not the truth, right? I mean, we have bad examples of other trades out there using our fiber to hold up other things, time and knots, and it's still passing test. It's still, being durable and stuff. So I think we're past that, as well as the price point, but also just the durability and the flexibility of it.
Right. And do you see, obviously in terms of your technicians being able to do the fiber, that has become easier and more prevalent.
It is. I mean, it's a great point. So I've been around a while too. Terminating fiber, you still have to cleave them and bake them and polish them and all that. Now terminating fiber is easier than terminating copper, and it is. You can do it faster.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially if you bring in shielded copper and stuff. I mean, 100%.
Right. And just from a Corning point of view with the fiber to the edge, we're definitely seeing a lot of this uptake, especially in some of the verticals like hotels, which is the early adopter, but more and more even in enterprise and in industry like manufacturing sites. So is that the type of verticals that you're also seeing this fiber to the edge?
Smart warehousing absolutely is a booming vertical market.
Oh, great.
When you look at where we're installing a lot of fiber, I mean, we talk about multiple vertical markets, but clearly data centers, which we both play a huge part in, and that's smart manufacturing. If you think about some of who the hyperscales are and who they support, and the prevalence of IoT, smart manufacturing, distribution warehouses is being built by some of the biggest companies in this country. We won't name names, but yes, a ton of fiber going in those places.
Yeah, and Kevin mentioned it earlier, right? The OT and the convergence of OT and IT, and then the smart building, the IIoT. Mm-hmm. It's almost in every conversation in that vertical.
Great. Well, we very much look forward to having to continuing this journey with Vision and following the money, and definitely the smart area of buildings or manufacturing, etc. has a lot of life still for this core LAN business and where the growth is going to come from. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
we look forward to working with you.
Thank you very much.